Hear ye, hear ye. I am UFO Jesus. The disclosure process is in full swing. Breaking news. Politico article, June 19th. Senators get classified briefing on UFO sightings. 3 more U.S. senators received a classified Pentagon briefing on Wednesday about a series of reported encounters by the Navy with unidentified aircraft, according to congressional and government officials, part of a growing number of requests from members of key oversight committees. One of them was Senator Mark Warner, Democrat of Virginia, the vice chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, whose office confirmed the briefing to Politico. If Navy pilots are running into unexplained interference in the air, that's a safety concern Senator Warner believes we need to get to the bottom of, his spokesperson, Rachel Cohen, said in a statement. So we need to get to the bottom of it, but what does that mean? I interpret that means that the UFO subject is never going away. Its prominence will never diminish from this moment forward. That genie cannot be put back in the bottle. Why? Because it's not going to end with relegating all research to the UAP incursions that is occurring to carrier strike groups on an almost daily basis. That's only a fraction of what is occurring on our planet when it comes to UAP. What about all the incursions that are happening to nuclear missile launch facilities all over the country that happen very frequently? In fact, Harry Reid has spoken about this recently. He spoke about an incursion that took place at a nuclear launch facility in Montana. These are not rare. They happen all the time. Unidentified aerial craft come in to as restricted as can be airspace where our ICBMs are housed, and they tamper with that technology. I mean, if you want to talk about national security, I can't think of something more heavily within that category than where the United States houses the very technology that protects it and deters other nations from screwing with U.S. interest. But it doesn't end there. This is a worldwide phenomenon and manifests in multiple, multifaceted ways. What about USOs, unidentified submerged objects? UAP that maybe were once in the sky, but then submerged into our seas. Those are seen all the time. They're detected on sonar. Those are a part of our life just as much as the aerial craft that don't come from any military inventory in the world and fly around in our skies are a part of our life. And it's not going to end there, because people are going to start asking, well, if there's these submerged, unidentified craft within our seas that travel way faster, by the way, than even the most fast and sophisticated U.S. attack submarine, people are going to ask, well, my God, are there alien bases in our oceans? And on and on and on it goes. We are entering a post-disclosure world. And within that world, this subject does not diminish, it does not decrease, it does not go away. It deepens and it increases, and the whole world is going to be talking about it and trying to get to the bottom of it, but it's a bottomless pit. There are people coming out of the woodworks, said one former government official who has participated in some of the meetings. A current intelligence official added, more requests for briefings are coming in. The sessions have been organized by the Navy, but have also included staff from the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence, the sources said. Both were not authorized to talk publicly about the briefings. Advocates for giving the mystery greater attention say they hope Congress will take more formal steps, such as requiring the Department of Defense to collect and complete a detailed analysis of data collected by satellites and other means of unidentified craft intruding into military airspace or operating under the sea. I think that it is inevitable that as more politicians and government officials demand a better accounting of this presence, that deeply held special access programs are going to begin to see the light of day. I don't think they're going to start new programs to study the UFO presence so that all of the lies only get more accentuated and the Pentagon looks even worse as time rolls on. I anticipate something else. Those special access programs, some of them at least, are going to start seeing the light of day. In fact, Jeremy Corbell, a while back on a Phenomenon Radio interview, I believe, he stated that he believes there are many, many UFO programs in the varied branches of our government, but that 4 in particular are going to come out. And I think those 4 that are going to come out are going to start handing over the data, something they should have done for decades but haven't. They're going to start handing that data over to government officials and to politicians because everyone is going to be on fire to learn about the presence and therefore to make informed decisions about how to handle this presence. We are going through the most historical period of time in the history of humankind, and we are very close to passing into a post-disclosure world. There's no question about it. And there's nothing that can put this back into the genie's bottle. It's a runaway train at this point. Much of the discussion about the UAP presence is occurring on social media right now. And I want to share some of that discussion with you because I take part in a lot of that discussion. And I think it's very revealing and very interesting to see how humanity is talking at this current time about the presence. And we're talking more and more about the presence because it's being presented in the news more and more. And Congress, our own government officials, are getting involved in it. Hell, Donald Trump commented on how he was briefed about UFOs a couple days ago. So yeah, it's getting real, y'all. It's beyond the point of no return. Yes, and at a certain point, it's going to move aggressively and consistently beyond the realm of social media. You're going to go to a barbecue and people are going to be like, hey man, what do you think about the aliens? You're going to go to church and someone's going to say, I love God, but damn, he created aliens too, not just us folk. You're going to go to the sporting event. There's downtime. You're like, I wonder how many alien bases are in our oceans. It's going to become a prominent discussion, and it should become a prominent discussion. Sticking your head in the sand about this presence does nothing to move us along in a responsible direction. Enough of that. Here is some very interesting give and takes on social media. Here's a tweet by Brian Bender, the defense editor for Politico, and he tweeted this hours before his article was published in Politico, the article that we're talking about now, of course, which is where it discussed that Congress was being briefed on UFOs. Sometimes I feel like we are through the looking glass, down the rabbit hole, and then ended up in the land of the lost, but we're in the future, not the past, and there's no way back ever. He's basically, in my opinion, foreshadowing what his article is going to be about and how it represents a quickening in the disclosure process. The looking glass and the rabbit hole is, of course, an allusion to Alice in Wonderland. And Land of the Lost is an old television show in which a family falls into another dimension inside the earth. And he talks about how this is really happening and there's no way back ever. Brian Bender intimately understands that we're entering, quite literally, a brand new world. Bryce Zabel, the co-author along with Richard Dolan of the book AD After Disclosure, says the following in reference to the Politico article that published today titled Senators Get Classified Briefing on UFO Sightings. Okay, great. I'm glad that people in the US Congress are demanding and getting briefings on UFOs. That's progress. But the logical step is to brief us, the people. This is something that we too expect. Make it so. Jeff responds to Bryce Zabel, the lack of interest by investigative journalists outside the UFO community is almost as mystifying as the phenomenon itself. I'll never understand it. Makes me lose respect for that entire field. Bryce Zabel responds, journalists don't like to be made fun of, and the policy of denial and ridicule has put them in a corner. As this goes mainstream, they will feel more and more comfortable writing about it. I think that's already starting. I agree with Bryce Zabel, and I will say for myself that I think the media and journalists gaining greater comfort talking about this presence is a major component of the runaway train of disclosure, the very beginning stages that I think we're in right now. Because what I think is going to happen, is starting to happen, is that journalists from various publications and broadcasts are starting to gain confidence and security in talking about this reality. And as this quickens and as this intensifies, disclosure does as well. Joe Murgia tweets, right now we're getting 2 to 5 minute segments on news. When you start seeing entire shows on cable news, CNN, MSNBC, and Fox, and then entire nights, we'll know we're making some serious progress. Not that what we've seen so far isn't progress and fantastic, and then we have 60 minutes. I respond, great insight, this is inevitable. There are going to be scientific panels on shows in the near future posing the questions, who is behind the wheel, what are they exactly, where do they come from, and what does it mean for humanity? These specials will get insane ratings. And to elaborate, what I mean by that is we are moving in that direction where various shows on Fox and CNN and MSNBC and 60 Minutes are going to start having scientists, philosophers, and theologians and historians to discuss this presence that impacts every one of us. This presence that is not coming from any military inventory in the world. This presence that it is exceedingly more advanced than we are. It's the thing that we're all going to be talking about. Every last one of us. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can check out my merch shop. Link is in the description below where I sell t-shirts. Or you can even become a patron. Or you can just slap a like on this bad boy and I'll appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for watching. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.